Good morning again. It's Sunday 11th of July and tonight England play Italy in the final of the European Championships, so that's something to bear in. Look forward to maybe later, stay up that long, or maybe I go to bed and get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Right, where are we now? Well, we're at the top of the coast road that comes from sort of Cherntilay and Bandon up over down to Nighton Beach. And just here there's a track or path, very rough dirt road, which I have been down many years ago in a four-wheel drive truck to pick up a dog that was in trouble. There's quite a few dogs living down here with Burmese rubber workers many years ago. Now, according to the map, this track does not go that far, so it's going to be a bit of exploration. I've got my secateurs with me to see if I can get further. I don't know that until I try. We are in the midst of what I suppose the weathermen would call a tropical depression. We've had a lot of rain, and it's dull now, but even so it feels cool, but it has been showing a temperature, it's about 27, just over 27 degrees, which is cool for here, but probably you'd be quite happy to have it 27 degrees in the UK, although I have to say it's very English weather, this drizzly. We've had a lot of rain. Just hope we don't have any torrential. On the beach this morning there's a strong breeze, but there's nothing here. So without further ado, we'll get off. This is very much a rubber area. There's a little shacks and houses here. Mostly, I understand, people actually living up in these hills are Burmese, and they basically earn a living by sharing with the landowner profits from the rubber they collect, and many of them, as you can see on some of the walks, also grow fruit and vegetables as well on the land they're tending. See, this is quite a well used track, it's pretty rough. I don't like to come down here not in a four-wheel drive truck. As I say, I did come down here once many years ago. We had it's still here, the French volunteer. We used to get around all these places that nobody else even knew existed on his motorbike, feeding dogs, and he'd always tell me there was a dog with a problem, and then I'd meet up with him and we'd come and find the dog and I'd get it to a vet. This was been going back before we had the shelter, so it's a long time since I was up here. Just with all the rain, there's quite a lot of water flowing. You can see that, lots of little waterfalls along here, just down in the little valley to my left. Certainly here the rain, the water flowing through here now. Motorcyclist ahead. She has to keep getting off and walking with a baby. So slippy. Well, we're approximately 1.6 kilometres in, and now we have a choice. The main path splits here. We can go down there, or we can go here. Something tells me that's probably the main way to go, but in the spirit of adventure we're going to head left. See where this takes us. There was a little footbridge that crossed the stream, but that just went up to a house. There were some dogs. So I've come down a little bit and crossed the stream. Had to just jump over where it had broken down the bank. And now, as you see, the path is not very clear. Well, not as clear as it was. Hopefully we find a way through. If not, we might have to go back. But only one way to find out. There is a path here. It's probably just for yeah. So we'll continue for a while. Well, I'm happy to say that path didn't peter out. It's joined this one, and looking at the map, this is heading now more in the easterly direction, which is the direction I really want to go. It's heading up to what would be the top of another hill higher than the first one. So assuming it continues all the way, hopefully it'll go up to the top and then over that. It is humid in here. You can probably see I'm pointing the camera in the right direction, but yeah, no air at all, and it might only be 27, 28 degrees or whatever, but it's when we set off, but it certainly feels a lot warmer than that in here. So we'll go explore further. Happy so far. Okay, so we've now sort of crossed the plateau of this hill, and it looks as though it's now going to wind down. See where it comes out. This is probably the highest hill just in this little area of what I call Layan Hills. If we were able to have a view over in that direction, we'd be looking down on the sea and Layan beach. So we've come up quite a bit north, as well as coming heading east as well. Yeah, so quite pleased that up to now, I say, this could end up being a there and back. We end up hitting a brick wall and having to turn around, but at the moment we push on, see where we end up. Well, I spoke too soon. We have got a little bit of a view just at this point. That's what looks like a disused rubber workers shack behind me. On the hill there, that's the northern end of Layan Beach, and that hotel was built a few years ago, and with villas going up the hillside. Sure, hopefully you can see, make them out and see the sea. Let's go back and see. So the path, there's a path going that way. Nothing anywhere else. Views over the hills. Might be one there, but I think that looks more likely. So that's the way we'll go. The path isn't very clear here, but you can just about make out the path. It's going quite steeply downhill, but yeah, I can just about make it out, so we will persevere. As you probably see, the path does, well, disappear. I say all but disappear. But if you just look go around the front of the rock that's just below the house, and then just keep looking where it's a bit thinner, and then just ahead I can see rubber trees that are being tapped, and I can see a much wider path, proper path going along there, just, well, not very far at all now, probably 20 yards down this hill, and this hill is not that steep, so no problems. So when you get to the bottom of this bank, hit this row of rubber trees. Could go off that way left, but I can see a more clearer path. It seems to be heading down that way, so I think we'll stick with that one. So we'll head right. Well, as you can probably see, We've come down this embankment. It probably would have been best turning left further up. And we're now virtually at the bottom. It looks to be fairly clear there, rubber trees. I can see the roof of a shack there, and like you, I'm sure you can hear maybe dogs barking, so we're not far from some form of civilization. So you can get down the bottom here and then up the other side. Crossing this stream, dog up there barking away at us, and we've come down okay. Now we've just come down this hill, and here is another path going that way, a couple of motorbikes. Now, I checked the map, but I'm thinking probably this is the way if we turn left instead of right by that shack we passed some way back. We might have come out of this side. So I'm just going to check the map and see where it looks as though the right direction to go will be. And whether we go that way behind or whether we go this way through there. Well, we kept to the other side of the stream. Yeah, we crossed the stream and kept going up that little path, and now we've just hit what's a far more pronounced track here. Here you see what happened initially to the rubber. After treating with acid, it's pressed and then flattened and smoothed out. And Saudi cup! And then they make it into these flattened pieces of latex raw rubber, which gets taken off to be sold. Okay, well, here the jungle has closed in on us. It's saying you ain't going no further up this way. So I'll have to double back to where actually those three paths were. One was just going in the house, I think, and then there was another one going slightly to the left. So we might try that one, see where that goes. Well, I'm just sat on this rock having a few grapes. Been going, well, since we left the car, 2.5 hours. Done nearly 6 kilometres, so not that far, but spent quite a bit of time scrambling down that hill a while back. Now after that dead end, came back, tried every other little path I could find. None of them were going anywhere, they were just leading to shacks and one thing and another. So I've turned round now. I'm going to study the map in a minute to see if there's work out which way this track's going, because there's a truck parked in that little house over there. So obviously this must be a good roadway that leads eventually back to the road. I'm actually wondering if it's where we saw where the main path did split into two. There's a choice of going left and up into the hill or going right. I wonder if I went right, this is where it would have come. So I'm just going to check the maps and just see where we go. Oh, a little bit of breeze just cropped up. I did have a storm warning recently, so it could be opportune. I've taken my rucksack off. I have to get a waterproof out, so we'll get a few of these grapes down. And I'll catch you later. Now I was right, that track did lead to where before we branched off to the left. So if we'd carried straight on, that's where we'd have come. And obviously there's no point going back up there to come round again, so carried on. But I did notice before you get to that junction, just before, there is another path here that's going off to the right.
and it's probably for another day, but I'm just going to have a little trot down here just to see if it looks as though it could be going for some distance. Well, as you can see, I'd no sooner started going down that path than it started to rain. I continued down it enough for me to see that it does appear to be going off the opposite direction to the one we took, so I think that could be worth exploring on another day when I don't want to go too far. It's raining steadily, it's not torrential, and actually you can see this path is sort of pretty well covered with trees and bamboo. Gives me a chance to try this poncho out, which is I got from here in Decathlon. It's sold 3 different types, basically a basic, better and best. This was the middle one. Probably also because it's the only one they had in my size. It also makes the change just to try back to the GoPro. I didn't want to have the camera out in the wet, and the GoPro is of course waterproof, so and just to compare, I put them on the same setting, so it'd be interesting to compare the actual pictures. This looks to be brightening up actually. The sky looks doesn't look too bad, still very grey, but seen quite a lot of these on this walk. How well the GoPro picks them up, but this is Heliconia or bird of paradise, and just growing in the wild here. They do overgrow actually a lot. We got them in the garden and they're huge, and they do spread like wildfire, but they do flower all the year round. So we're heading now back to the car, and I'll see you back there where I'd spotted that truck. He actually passed me a little while back there, and of course he offered to give me a lift. Now here I remember there used to be dogs, we used to feed dogs here. Worth more exploring, definitely. Verdict on this poncho. Yeah, keeps the water out, rolls off. Whether it's obviously not breathable, which doesn't make it particularly great for this climate. But it does stop you having to get your backpack cover off, because as you notice, I think you can see right behind me, it does cover your backpack as well. Debatable in this sort of rain whether it's better to more pleasant walking in it than wearing something like this. I do have breathable waterproof jacket at home in England, but it's not much good over there when you're in Phuket. So that was how long? Yeah, we've been out 3.5 hours in total. So pleasant morning. See you next time.